Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is June 19th, and it's like nearly, I don't know, 10 minutes to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Kind of windy. Strange. At this second, it's not, right when I tell you that. Otherwise, it's blowing. You can't hang on to these papers here, nothing like that. And, yes, what did I start out saying? Oh, there was somebody put a nasty comment on one of my last videos in the last few days. I deleted it. I shouldn't have deleted it. I should have kept it and read it. Actually, I only read like about 2 sentences. I think I just had a bunch of nasty remarks. And I guess some of these videos I've been putting out lately, it's a lot of criticism, of course, of Donald Trump. And it's just like so many other people that were his supporters, big supporters, are criticizing him very much right now as well. So what is he saying? Like Donald Trump is now beating the war drums. And, I got a lot of interesting things to be telling you today. One of them, of course, is Candace Owens. You got Tucker Carlson. I think even Steve Bannon and so many people. But then you have these really crazy some brain damaged people like Mike Huckabee or Ted Cruz. Apparently he's a brain damaged guy too. You'll find out why when I start talking about this stuff that's going on. But there's one person, he's putting out some videos. Maybe I should get away from this road. It's probably too loud. I don't know. Well, anyway, Colonel Douglas Macgregor, what he said, he's finally caught up with me. At least somebody has. And a lot of times, I say some things and eventually some of these other people, they also mention it. It's not that they are catching up with me or didn't see it either, but they just maybe never talked about it. It's like Jeffrey Sachs. Oh, now the wind is coming, as you see. Like Jeffrey Sachs. And he's talking about how the West always wanted Crimea. And I was talking about that as well. People staring at me. What's up here? I'm going to go up here. Oh, looks like a restaurant probably. Maybe I should switch the cameras so you guys can see where I'm going. I'll show you. I'll walk backwards. This is a bookstore. El Knique. Terrible wind here. Anyway, Colonel Douglas Macgregor, what did he say? Let me see if I can get out of the wind. First, you probably can't hear me. All you can probably hear is the wind noises. Some guy's going this way. I don't know. He's thinking I'm tailing him. I'm a stalker. I don't even know what's up here. Looks like it's windy here too. Maybe I should walk inside the mall, but then everybody be listening to me. Oh, it's a restaurant. It's a little bit calmer up here. How nice, how nice. I won't disturb their meal by talking. These people here. Nice carved bear here. This lady with blue gloves. Barely. Chinese sort of a place. Look at this. The places that you find. Nice benches. If I can find one that's dry. We've had some rain today. Looks dry. Oh. Okay, Colonel Douglas Macgregor, what did he say? It's taken me a while to get into this. He started off by talking to Tulsi Gabbard. He was getting interviewed by that, if I'm okay here. What this guy's doing. He was getting interviewed by that other, I think he's a military colonel, the guy he's normally on a show with. I don't even know the guy's name, to be honest with you. Sorry about that guy. But anyhow, he started out talking about Tulsi Gabbard, and like most all of us truth activists, we have a high respect for Tulsi Gabbard. And, he even said that her deal is that she tells the truth. She's a woman of conscience, she's intelligent, she's articulate. He said that sort of a thing. I say that too. And he said she is not beholden to those that were paying for her campaign when she was running for president, which is true, but it's opposite with Donald Trump. But you know, like Joe Biden, all these people. And it's weird. Donald Trump is a multi-billionaire, but yet he's beholden to those that paid for his campaign. And for the most part, you know, they're talking about Sheldon and Miriam Adelson. You know, for a large part, I don't know, they gave him, I don't know, over $1 million, $1.5 million, I don't know, large sum of money. And of course, they want everything for Israel. And a lot of his donors do. And he said, let's be frank, President Trump would not be in the White House today if it were not for wealthy Jewish billionaires aligned with their friend Netanyahu, who put Trump into office. And Trump had to promise certain things if he were elected. Where have you heard that many, many times before, you regulars that watch my channel? I don't know why nobody else has been saying that. I'm glad Colonel McGregor has finally said that too, though. So in other words, he's beholden to Israel, who put him in the White House. And normally, as you all have been noticing, it's like the deep state put Joe Biden in the White House. But it's not just the deep state. And I was telling you in other videos that sometimes the deep state is aligned with Israel. And you all know that the deep state supports Joe Biden, but also Israel also supported Joe Biden. And I'll tell you that there's some figures about that in a minute. If I were a little bit more organized, I would have put some of this other information I wanted to tell you guys right now. That Joe Biden, well, I'll tell you, I have the numbers a little bit later on. But he is one of the people that got more money than any other person in U.S. politics to become president from Israel. So one of the biggest collectors of Israeli money was Joe Biden. So there, I said it. Okay. He said, okay, Colonel McGregor also said Trump had to promise certain things if he were elected, one of which was that he's going to take on and destroy Iran. I wouldn't go that far, but that he is going to take on Iran. And of course, as you all know, Bibi Netanyahu and a lot of these Zionist Nazis, Zion-Nazis, I guess some people call them, they've been itching to attack Iran for a long time, and of course they want the United States to do it. And I tell you what, my prediction is, I'm sure a lot of you agree with me, is that you just now watched that Israel was attacking Iran. They did that knowing that Donald Trump is going to enter the fray as well, the United States, with your taxpayers' money, by the way. So I don't think Israel would have ever done that. Israel, for the most part, if you guys are watching what's going on, they're not quite as far along as Israel is not quite as far along as Iran is. Iran is an amazing nation, you have to admit that. Militarily, what they've achieved with huge sanctions piled on them for a long, long time, and they've had the hatred of the United States since the 1980s, and I think it's practically non-stop hatred, everything possible to sabotage Iran. And that, under that adversity, they're absolutely an incredible people. It's just like the Houthis. But you know, a lot of you that are watching this, if you get brainwashed by American news over there, you're going to say, how dare you say that? These are filthy, lying, dirty, murderous people. That's kind of weird, you know. It's like, you look at Israel, they've murdered vastly more people than probably any country on planet Earth at this time right now. I mean, this regime in charge of Israel, I don't think anybody has murdered more people than this present government in Israel. And normally, who's in second place? Oh, probably the United States. But they're the good guys. That's what the good guys do. So, that's just so you guys know that. The good guys are the ones that do all the mass murders, I guess. So McGregor, like I said, he mentioned that Tulsi is a woman of character who tells the truth. And anyway, he said, I don't, and I even said that, I'll tell you what, I said this a while ago, and I don't think it had nothing to do with what's going on right now with Israel bombing Iran, but I said almost the same word, almost. I said, I don't know how much longer she is going to be able to stay in the cabinet under these circumstances. Those are the words of Douglas McGregor. You know, Tulsi Gabbard is an anti-war type of person, just like Tucker Carlson is. And there's a lot of people, they don't really like wars. And we all thought that Donald Trump doesn't like wars. And I was saying in a video or two ago, and I think that's the one that really pissed people off. And I had somebody, he practically wrote a book. He was pissed off. I just read about the first two sentences and said, this guy is a knucklehead. I think he was calling me a liberal. And I think somebody else was writing down there that I'm an illiberal. You know, in other words, I'm exactly not a liberal. But I'm not, you know, I tell you what, I have a few liberal views, a few. And, you know, I think we all do. It's just, you know, to put labels on people, it doesn't really work that way because it's really never completely straightforward. Nobody fits into the, what do they call it? The stereotypical poster child, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, or whatever. Look at Mitt Romney. He's supposed to be a Republican, but they call him a rhino, a Republican in name only. He's more of a Democrat. Or look at Donald Trump. You know, people call him a conservative, but Donald Trump, the one thing that Donald Trump, I'll tell you what, Joe Biden is a conservative compared to Donald Trump. What is a conservative? A conservative is somebody who's resistant to change. Well, who's the one that has been changing things much more, maybe in your lifetime, than any president at all? Well, I guess that's Donald Trump. All of his tariff wars, and this, that, and the other thing. So Donald Trump is anything but a conservative. But a lot of people say, well, if you're not a conservative, you're a liberal. Well, why? What the heck? Why do you have to be a liberal? Come on. I'm just saying he's not a conservative. You know, it's not like there's a one end is a liberal, one end's a conservative. It's, you know, there's all kinds of different directions you can go to. I don't know, the way politics and they put labels on people. What do they say in the prison? You know, you hanging a jacket on me? You putting a jacket on me? You know, by calling you some liberal or a conservative. I worked in a prison for like, I don't know, 3 years, I guess, too. So anyway, you guys probably don't even believe me when I tell you about all the things that I've done. And oh, another thing, that's another thing. This guy that was criticizing me, I think he called me a middle-aged alcoholic because I was drinking a beer. My, for God's sake, I'm just as crazy right now as I was when I was having the beer. Maybe I'm more so. I didn't even have a beer yet. Probably today, it's a sunny day. But anyway, I'm middle-aged. I mean, I'm actually an old guy. A middle-aged, you know, he complimented me. It shows how much this guy watches my videos, you know. And what is having a beer makes you an alcoholic? Well, I don't know. I just get a crack up. You know, a lot of people, they get a big kick out of being called a anti-Semite or something else, you know. And a lot of people, they hold that as a badge of honor, being called like an anti-Semite from the ADL or sometimes even getting put on, what is this Mirovitz or whatever. This is the kill list of Ukraine. People, they want to get killed. You know, they encourage other people to kill, and a lot of times they try to kill the people themselves. But they're the good guys. You guys all know that. Ukraine are the good guys. They're the ones, democracy, freedom. They're defending our freedom, our rights of America and Europe and all that. You know, Heil, Sieg Heil, Slava Ukraina. See, come on now. You know, the good guys. What a messed up world. You know, and one time, the thing I like, you know, about you, a lot of you are the regular subscribers. There's not that many of you, and it's like, of course, I'm not getting promoted that much. And I should act as if every video is a new video, and maybe people, you know, when they hear these things, they'll start to say, well, yeah, I kind of think that, I've noticed that stuff too, you know. They're teaching everybody not to think for themselves. Why is there always some noises wherever I'm at? You guys probably hear that. Well, I'm going to talk loud, so maybe I can talk over it. Maybe they're taking off. I don't even know what the heck that is. Sounds like a car race or something. Okay, let's see. George Galloway interviewed Glenn Greenwald, who also commented, as I did, about Mike Huckabee. I said that stuff about Mike Huckabee yesterday. You know, he wrote this thing and basically said Donald Trump is chosen by God. It's God's hand that made Donald Trump the president of the United States. And Donald Trump ate that up. Donald Trump, I think Donald Trump and his ego, look at these hands, the greatest economy that the world has ever seen. Now he's talking about the military. The military is the greatest it's been, I don't know, since my last term. Oh, it's starting to rain now. Why is all the elements against me? Noises, rain. The thing is, I wrote my notes here with gel pen, and the gel pen starts to run otherwise. So I got to get out of here. Got to pack my things and go. Once I ran to you. You ask this guy here. Excuse me, sir. You know, excuse me. Do you know where I can get into some shelter? Excuse me. Oh. He didn't want to talk, I guess. He drank too much. He's an alcoholic. He's a middle-aged alcoholic. You know? I like that. Middle-aged. I haven't been called middle-aged for a long time. You know what's embarrassing? And I didn't think I really looked that bad, but when young guys get up, you know, it's a different culture over here than it is like in the United States. Young people and men, always normally young men, they get up and give you their seat if they think you're an old lady or an old man. So, get in, baby. Jeez. Look at what I do for you guys. Fighting the wind, the rain, everything. Okay. George Galloway. Yes. Anyway, he caught that also. He was making up about the same thing that I said. You know, I don't know. Do these guys watch my videos, or maybe they just have the same opinions as I do? I mean, it's something for all of you guys to know. You saw it here first. Eyewitness News. Okay. But as you all know, and you all can expect it anyway, Donald Trump is going to eat that stuff up. You know, that he's chosen by God or something. Oh, look at this. No rain. Sport Hall, well, you guess I have the wrong camera on. Sport Hall behind me. Okay. Oh, and it's there's other people, they were talking in similar subjects, you know, that these people, like Mike Huckabee, and even Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is the same sort of a deal, and I think Tucker Carlson had brought that out from Ted Cruz. You know, they think, let me get into this too. They think that oh, let me get into it. Okay, here we go. That it's going to be the second coming of Jesus because of you have to bless Israel. Ted Cruz said, and you will be blessed. These are real knuckleheads, like I'm telling you. And see, that was my criticism, what I'm telling you guys about. I don't know, Ted Cruz says it's in the Bible, and Tucker Carlson was asking him where, you know? And Ted Cruz didn't know. But anyway, I think Tucker Carlson said it's something kind of similar, and I guess it's in Genesis. I don't know, which is the Old Testament, which is the thing Old Testament, I don't, there's a lot of stuff I don't really buy in the Old Testament. And I hear even in the New Testament, a lot of stuff is definitely not accurate. I hate to say that because a lot of you Christians are brought up, indoctrinated. I mean, not brainwashed. I mean, you guys are brought up to believe that everything in the Bible is true. Everything. There cannot be a lie because God wrote it. Wait a minute, God inspired it. One time I said that to a guy. I said, did God write it? He said, no, but it was inspired by God, you know. Oh, I saw a movie with, you know, about Bruce Lee, and that was inspired by the truth, but it wasn't the truth. So, you know, sorry about that. Anyway, there's a Christian, I think, that watches this. His name is Stephen Green. He makes some comments very often. Very decent human being, and he has some very good comments. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that too. So he's a guy more that you should listen to than somebody like Ted Cruz or Mike Huckabee. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. These are insane people. Okay, but let's keep going here. Ted Cruz, he was talking about, he heard in Sunday school when he was a kid, I guess he had a good memory or something, that what does it say? If you bless Israel, you will be blessed. Bless those people that are killing all those children, that are massacring tens of thousands of children. You know, those people that hate Jesus, and they said if Jesus ever showed his face on this earth again, that they would kill him again. Bless those people, you know. But then again, I'll tell you what. I met some old guy. I said this in one other video before. He was like, at that time, the guy, well, old guy, I'm catching up I'm almost there myself. The guy was 71 years old, and he was introduced to me by another guy who was also 71 years old. These guys have long white beards. They look like Gandalfs. And that one guy, he knew like 6 languages, including Sanskrit and Hebrew and all that. And he's like done translations of the Bible and read it all himself and all that. So, and anyway, I think he might have been this establisher of this other kind of a Christian religion. And he said Israel is a people, but not those people that are occupying the Middle East right now. He was saying something, what's one reason why they approached me, because of my blonde hair. Then they're saying that I am a child of Israel and all that kind of crap. And I didn't really buy this stuff. And and I lived near an Indian reservation at the time, and and my closest friend over there was married to an Indian. Oh, we love those people, but they're not chosen. You have to be able to show blush in your cheeks and some other kind of stuff. You guys that are into this stuff, you guys probably know that already. So a lot of people are real curious watching me. That's why it's funny. But maybe it stopped raining. Looks like it did. And I can walk a little bit here. Okay. So, I got to this part already. Senator Chuck Schumer, I don't know if he now loves Donald Trump because Donald Trump is bombing Iran. It's, like I said, a lot of these people, and Chuck Schumer, I think, where a lot of these people, where their ideology, where their ideologies intercept is their love for Israel. They love Israel, and I know they do. They love Israel far more than they love the United States or their own constituents. These people would sacrifice the people of America for Israel. And I'm hoping it's not going to get down to that. And you guys know that. People of my age or my age group, because you've been watching a lot of this history go on now, and how all these politicians pledge to Israel. And then, like I said, and a lot of people will admit to it, it's a lot of this money. It's a big money scheme, and Israel is probably the one that thought that up. They're not stupid people. But they send a lot of money there, and the money floats back into the politicians' campaign donations through the Israeli lobby and all that. You guys all know that, or even just the Israeli billionaires like Sheldon Adelson and all those people. So that's how that goes. Oh, look at this. This is a remodeled Moscow theater. Let me step back. Oh, as a matter of fact, I keep forgetting. You guys can't. I don't have that. I don't have that one turned on my. I can probably turn it on. You guys can't see my disheveled hair. See that? It's an old movie theater, Kino Theater. It used to say, does it still say Kino Theater on there? It used to say it on there somewhere. It's not. Let's see if I can switch. No, I don't think I can easily go to that other mode. But let's keep going here on all of this kind of stuff. Yeah, Chucky Schumer. 2 weeks ago, he was on Trump's throat, but he's probably now in love with Donald Trump. At least for this bombing Iran. These people are, like I said, crazy. They want to kill for Israel. We'll kill for Israel. Wow. And then we're talking about these Ukrainians and how these people, they want to kill all the Russians. I tell you, what a messed up world. Okay. Iran found another truck. As a matter of fact, I think they found 3 trucks now with drones that Israel had moved in there. And I think Israel said they were preparing for this for 2 years. I don't know if that's true. But as you all know, and everybody's saying, it's almost identical to this plot that Ukraine used that they call Spiderweb. And it looks like Israel is the one that has assisted. And some people have been saying the Mossad is assisting Ukraine, and the MI6 is assisting Ukraine, and the CIA is assisting Ukraine. And it's pretty obvious now, because it's got Israeli fingerprints all over it, and everybody agrees with that. Since what we just now are seeing in Iran is exactly what happened in Ukraine. Some music going on over there. It's not going to get YouTube going here. Okay, some of these politicians. Let me go over here, it's probably less noisy. So some of these politicians, a lot of people are posting, how much money of, I think a lot of them, I don't know if it was career, it didn't explicitly say, of getting money from the Israeli lobby. I already mentioned Joe Biden, but the amount for Joe Biden was $4,230,000 that they've given to Joe Biden. And then there was, I think it was a little bit down the list was Hillary Clinton, $2,361,000, and Ted Cruz got from Israel $1,872,000. So close to $2 million Ted Cruz got from Israel. So that's why he's so madly in love with Israel, like a lot of these other ones are too. Cruz says, biblically, we are commanded, get this one, we are commanded to support Israel. Biblically, we are commanded to support Israel. And then again, like I would have to start to wonder, well, what, is Israel this country? Is it this piece of land artificially created, obviously, and filled with a lot of racist Europeans? Or is it a people, like that one guy said? I don't have any idea, really. I'm not, I tell you what, I wasn't around in those days, and I haven't seen any ancient writings saying this stuff. I don't necessarily believe this Bible, the Old Testament especially. I believe in Jesus, and some of those things that are attributed to Jesus as what Jesus said are very wise and incredible things, and how it was said is absolutely amazing. You cannot mistranslate it into any other language. I've said that in a lot of my videos already anyway, so don't act like as if I'm some guy that hates Christians or something. And I don't have anything against any people, whether Jewish or Hindu or anything, that don't mean to do harm to other people. I hope I can go this way. That are out for humanity. And that's another thing. We're watching Tucker Carlson, and he says how he is so much of an American. He supports America, and that he's a Christian and all that sort of a deal. I tell you what, if I was interviewing Tucker Carlson, I would say, come on now, let's tell the truth. You are a humanist. You are for humanity. You have humanity has priority over your nationality. Your humanity has priority over your religion. Because you have humanity, that is one reason why you call yourself a Christian. Because for you, humanity means Christianity. Look at those buildings up there. I'll tell you what, I think these are probably little vehicles racing around. I can't go anywhere. See the rain. I guess it's underneath and there's something racing around. I think there's probably those little four-wheel carts or something like that. So it's just too friggin' loud. Okay. Trump has massive military buildup sent to that area, and if you can try to imagine how much money that costs, how much money does that cost just to send all those things there and to maintain them in that area, wherever that is at, rather than their regular duty station. I mean, and you always have to ask yourself anyway, just to maintain a military at any time, even just doing drills, how expensive it is. You don't earn anything from it. Not really. Unless you have your military somewhere to threaten some country in order to get their resources. And of course that happens as well. So it's obvious he's made his choice. He's made his decision to bomb Iran but he's wavering a little bit because he's noticing, Donald Trump is noticing that he is beginning to lose a lot of supporters, and a lot of people are telling him, you're losing your support, you're losing your base, you're losing MAGA. Donald Trump won his first term by getting up on that debate stage, going against all those other people that were on that stage with him, that all supported the Iraq war, and he said it was stupid and it should never have happened. And now here is Donald Trump. You know, he even said, Candace Owens, she put that on her site, on her video. She gave a clip of that, Donald Trump getting up there and saying there were no weapons of mass destruction. It was all based on a lie and all that. And then here we have it. Here we have it again. Donald Trump doing identically the same thing. You know, it's incredible. There's some kind of a, isn't there some kind of a, what do they call that, a saying or something like, I don't know, it's like don't judge other people or whatever. Anyway, whatever, he's doing the same thing as those as others that he had criticized. It's amazing. Ah, too bad. I should probably, that girl, she probably think I was filming her. Real nice looking girl too. Anyway, but let's keep going here. Stop watching women, you guys. Anyway, Trump said in a, wait a minute, wait. Trump, gosh, the wind. This lady. Putin, I wrote Trump. Putin said in a forum in St. Petersburg yesterday that Russia has been the scapegoat for centuries. And I've kind of said sort of similar things, you know, when you study history and all that. I won't even get into it. So, but the alleged threat from the East, he called it. Western leaders use the Russian threat to explain their own failures and to extract more money from taxpayers. You know, just like what's going on in the European Union right now, just exactly what happened with Ukraine, and just what is happening with the European Union. Russia's going to bomb it, Russia's going to attack. And Zelensky, of course, he's the recipient of that money, so he's there to egg it on as well. And I'm still trying to figure out, well, who is the one that is protecting Europe and the West from the bad guys? And who are the Russians the bad guys, the Iranians? Pretty soon they're going to start linking them as an axis of evil. I don't know who's the next one they're going to throw in there. Maybe China, North Korea. I have no idea. You know, we've heard it all before, and it just keeps on going. Okay. Larry Johnson, ex-CIA. I like Larry Johnson. I've told you guys that. I like Colonel McGregor. And everybody else I'm talking about, I'm only talking about the people I like for the most part. Ah, so friggin' much wind. So let's see, Larry Johnson, ex-CIA, said if Trump bombs Iran, his support would evaporate. I said that as much. Anyway, everybody knows. Of course, many support Trump for being against senseless wars. And I talked about Candace Owens. And Trump talking about Bush started the lie about weapons of mass destruction, and it's like, shouldn't Trump say, gosh, that sounds really familiar. Iran is building a nuclear bomb. We're going to stop them from building a nuclear bomb. Everybody knows. Well, I think it was even Larry Johnson, and everybody says it's not about a nuclear bomb. It has nothing to do, and they know that Iran is not building a nuclear bomb. So Johnson says it has nothing to do with it. It's about regime change. And remember Tulsi Gabbard, one of her main critiques of the United States government as it is now are all of these regime change wars. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene says the same thing, you know, and it just, oh, don't worry, the American taxpayer will pay it. You guys will pay higher taxes. You guys will live a worse life, and you guys will pay for all of these regime change wars, because isn't that nice? And then we'll let the corporations, the big rich people that are already rich, the multinationals, they go in there and they can plunder all the resources. And somehow some of it might get back into your pocket if you're lucky. You know, you might get some fentanyl to shoot up or whatever. Let's see. A lot of people are saying that, I mentioned something about this yesterday. If things don't work for Israel, they could pull off, but they said it a little bit succinctly. This is a little bit better. They said they'll pull off another USS Liberty. And if you guys are familiar with the USS Liberty, it was 1967, and I guess, that little war between Egypt and Israel. And Israel attacked the American ship. First they flew by and they were waving and tipping their wings, to the American soldiers. Some guys sitting out, relaxing, getting a suntan or whatever. It was kind of like listening in. It was kind of a spy ship, so to speak, intercepting signals and listening in what's happening between, in the area, between Israel and Iran, Egypt, and all that. And then they flew by a few times, and then of course the airplanes were painted. They painted over the insignia that said it was Israel, and then they started bombing and machine gunning the American ship. And of course, I don't know how many they killed. I think like maybe 40 or 35. A lot of people were injured, and they sent, I guess, bombs. They were trying to sink the ship. People trying to get away. The ship was on fire. They're trying to get away in life rafts, and the ship was sinking. And Israel machine gunned the life rafts, which that's only a war crime. Israel's allowed to commit war crimes. Don't you know that? They can do anything that they want because they're Israel. President Johnson was the president at that time, and it has since come out, and Candace Owens has even mentioned this, by the way, that President Johnson was a, what do they call him, a closet Jew. He was actually Jewish. He was not Christian. He had a lot of mistresses, a lot of ladies, and I think even some of the ladies that he's even probably, told a little bit, they've even talked about this. And remember President Johnson, he's kind of a real nasty guy. Back in those days, they didn't divulge a lot of the stuff on the nasty presidents. What did he say? There was something like, this was, I think, more about Vietnam. He said, you make me president and I'll give you your goddamn war. He was telling the investors and things like that. But that was the first time when it was really dirty stuff. And since the time of President Johnson, Kennedy was against Israel building nuclear weapons. And of course, I'm not exactly sure what date that was when Mordecai Van Nunu exposed that Israel was making nuclear weapons and all that. And of course, don't talk about that. Even to this very day, don't talk about that. You're not supposed to know that because they're not signed to the nuclear Israel has a different set of rules. Everybody knows that. They don't have to follow any rules. You guys know that. There are no rules that apply to Israel. Okay, but anyway, a lot of people are saying it's going to be the same thing. It was Colonel Karen Kwiatkowski. She was a Pentagon analyst. She was saying that. And they have a whole list of things that they can do. One of them is, like a ship. And I think she's talking, it's even possible they could make a dirty bomb and make it look like Iran did it. We hope we don't see this kind of stuff. But it's very obvious. A lot of people are saying that, and they're talking about, what do they call it, the Samson option, that if Israel is going to be losing to Iran, they will use a nuclear weapon. A lot of people are saying that. And who was it? Somebody was talking about, was it, I think, it was Douglas McGregor was saying that Norman Finkelstein, who by the way is Jewish, and he calls them something like insane. Like he said, the Israelis are insane or something, and they would probably use a nuclear weapon. They don't really care. The Israelis don't really care. If they kill a whole lot of people. They're just goy. They're not Jewish. They're not worth anything. Okay, let's see. Okay, last night Israel launched a big attack on Iran with 60 fighter jets, and they struck over 20 targets, and I guess the strike was still ongoing when I was reading about this, but it's like 60 jets and only 20 targets. Normally you'd think if they have 60 jets, it would be at least 120 targets. I don't know, depending on what sort of bombs they have and whether they're going to drop them and all that sort of a deal. Okay, and Donald Trump, he says that the Iranians are wanting to talk. He said that he says that all the time. Whenever he has these threats, I don't know if he's imagining this stuff. He has these dreams at night or whatever, and then he wakes up in the morning and says, Tucker Carlson apologized to me. Iran said they're desperate to talk to me. They want a peace deal. China wants a peace deal, and all these people are saying we never said that. We never 100% on that. Trump is coming up with all these delusions all the time. I think somebody even wrote on one blog that they think he's got dementia, Trump. I don't know. And I'm not even really anti-Trump, to be honest with you. Donald Trump has done some very nice things, very good things for a lot of people. You know, he's been very generous, and he doesn't even like to be recognized for doing generous things. You know, people maybe that are having very bad problems in their life, they need an operation and things like that. And of course, look at, he's trying to get rid of the wokeness and the crazy immigration sort of things. So it's just he's just got some mental problems. Maybe I should say it that way. It really seems that way. Okay. Anyway, Iran said that Donald Trump is putting out fake news. So Donald Trump, you know, the enemy of fake news, he's putting out fake news. Incredible. So CNN says that the aircraft carrier group Gerald Ford, the whole group, the aircraft, you know, always normally of the group, is now going to the region as well. So the Nimitz, is the Nimitz there or on the way? Anyway, they're thinking that they might do a false flag on the Nimitz. A lot of people. But anyway, Gerald Ford is supposedly on the way. But they're going to stay very far out of harm's way, as you know. But they have strong enough missiles and that have long enough range to hit Iran. So don't worry, they're going to kill a lot of people. Okay. Israel says Iran bombed the hospital called the Soroka Hospital. And it turns out that it's like right next door to this big command post, intelligence command post that Iran actually bombed. And the shockwaves, you know, damaged quite badly, not really badly, but quite badly, the hospital. And the hospital was evacuated anyway. And I think even so was that intelligence place, that they just destroyed the building, probably, you know, just for laughs. I'm sure that the Israelis are very known for being very frightened and very cowardly people. So unfortunately, you know, so they're all hiding somewhere. Anyway, they're all gone, and there's a lot of them leaving, you know. And I'm not saying I blame them, but you know, even the thought of any kind of a missile coming in, they all start crying and go for cover. So I guess that's, you know, it's really weird, you know, talking tough all the time, and then you know, and I don't really even have that much against the Israeli people, except that they are very easily manipulated, you know, into believing there's something like the master race or something like that. Unfortunately, a lot of them are not like that, though. I'm sure there's a lot of good Israelis, so they're just some of them. Those are probably the ones that I'm talking about, you know. So anyway, I saw a report that Maria Zakharova, somebody was reporting that Maria Zakharova was reporting that Kaya Kallas said Russia poses a 360-degree threat to global security. I don't know. If you're listening to Annalena Baerbock, because nobody could be that stupid to kind of make a mistake like that again a second time, right after Annalena Baerbock. Did I say Baerbock? I'm talking about her days back when she was working in the WEF. You know, maybe they called her Baerbock back, and I'm sure they did, as a matter of fact. But anyway, so she's Kaya Kallas. She's jumping right in that boat too, of being a dumb lady. It's like you know, when I was just talking, just like I just did yesterday. I was talking about, you know, how you got these brilliant ladies, fantastic. You know, hey, Maria Zakharova, she's probably one of them too, but she's like more of a reporter type person. But you got Tulsi Gabbard, a political person, very brilliant. I don't know about Kristi Noem. I'm sure she's pretty good, but you know, they're both really good looking, which really, you know, is a good thing in their favor. And then you got, who are some of the other great ones? Like there was Claire Daly, I think from Ireland, you know. But I think they do everything possible to get rid of these ones. Instead, we get like Baerbocks and Ursula von der Leyen's. They're taking computer chips out of the washing machines and putting them in bombs, or some of the other idiots, or you know, really evil ones like Hillary Clinton or something like that. So, so the 360-degree. Anyway, Israel has come right out and said that one of the main goals of this military action is to kill Ayatollah Khamenei. You know, maybe that's one reason why Donald Trump is coming out and saying, Oh, we could kill him. We could have killed him many times. Oh, it wasn't. I didn't want to kill him. You know, blah blah blah. Not yet, or whatever. I don't know exactly what he said. You know, I don't know. Maybe they could have really, and I'm sure that Russia could have killed Zelensky many times if they really wanted to. And you remember Zelensky? He's from the same cloth as these scared that portion of the Israelis that are scared and cowardly, and Zelensky, you know, he's going around and hiding and crying and well, he's even crying. You know, that's when Russia was hitting some targets in Kiev. Instead of being a man like some other people were, and they didn't come out and didn't flinch. But you know, anyway, it's not bad to go for cover, but when you're the leader of the country and you're showing cowardice, it's not a really great thing like that. And I'll tell you what, even Donald Trump has got a lot more bravery than some of these like Zelensky or something like that. Okay, let's see. We were talking about Tulsi Gabbard. There's another, matter of fact, I already mentioned her, that she's great. But anyway, she's now excluded from the White House talks concerning Israel and Iran. So I don't know what happens if they get around to talking those, so they tell Tulsi Gabbard, get out of here. You know, you're too humanistic, you know, you care too much about humanity, and we're a bunch of evil bastards, and we want to start killing some Iranians and destroy the country, you know, for our personal profits. So when you start to become evil like us, then you can come and, you know, join the reindeer games. I don't know. So, but they say she's not expected to resign. So, you know, that answers Douglas McGregor's question and mine from even months ago. Say, well, is Tulsi Gabbard going to be able to hang out with a bunch of these warmongers and regime change people? Tara Reid, another one. Remember Tara Reid? I think she's the one that was molested by Joe Biden, and they were threatening her big time. I don't even know what Joe Biden was grabbing her. I think he did more than sniffing her hair. You know how he likes to sniff women's hair? He likes to sniff little babies, girls' hair, and maybe little boys too. I don't know. You know. Woo! There we go. So, anyway, Tara Reid. I guess she works for RT now, somewhere. But she was at this St. Petersburg Forum speak. It's just starting. Ooh, the signs are blowing away. Woo! And I think one of the hosts, maybe even the host, was Rick Sanchez. I didn't really even know because I don't watch CNN, but he used to be with CNN, I guess. And he is now working for RT, and he says it's fantastic. You know, he's not told what he can say, and all sorts of other restrictions. So anyway, but Tara Reid is working there now, and she was talking a lot. She was talking some about BlackRock, and I was always questioned. I didn't know exactly how BlackRock gets mixed in with a lot of this stuff. You know, I was talking before. I gotta put this shirt on properly. That's why it's feeling kind of weird. Where's the collar at, baby? Gosh. Anyway, I can see myself. It looks terrible in the thing. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna go looking like a slob. Okay. But she was talking that BlackRock, there's like 2 entities. There used to be 3, she said. I don't really know most of this stuff. You know, a lot of time I hear this stuff and I just dismiss it because you don't really hear it repeatedly. So you forget it very easily. But she says BlackRock is one of the entities that owns virtually the entire United States media. She's meaning the corporate media, of course. And because they're corporate, they're corporations that own these medias. And one of them is BlackRock, she was saying. And she said that BlackRock is also very much invested in this war. And I'm thinking, obviously, she means the Russian-Ukraine war. Or in war, she said, war in general. And she's also said that freedom of speech in the West is a myth. Well, I don't know that it's a myth, but it's definitely heavily restricted in a lot of ways. And she was mostly talking about herself because they threatened to send her to prison for speaking out, and they threatened to kill her as well. As a matter of fact, I was talking about Candace Owens. I guess there's been threats on her life as well, and maybe even one attempt to try to kill Candace Owens. So, I mean, jeez. It's just like Ukraine is killing a lot of journalists. Israel has killed lots and lots of journalists. So people like me I should keep my mouth shut, shouldn't I? They're going to come after me. Maybe this guy with the suit, maybe he's an agent of some sort. Anyway, so let's see. She said the pro-war has infiltrated into the mass media so that all of them, and they try to, and obviously you know that it's true if you're living in the United States, they try to make everybody pro-war there. The whole message is to get you to love war, especially the wars that the United States wants to wage. And Donald Trump, of course, he's waging his own thing. He's trying to make everybody believe that Iran is trying to get nuclear weapons. That's one reason why they shut out, of course, Tulsi Gabbard, because she said we have zero evidence. The IAEA, they put out, and they made it clear, they've just put out a day or so ago, we have no evidence that Iran is making a nuclear weapon. So, but anyway, you guys, you're not supposed to know that. I mean, here we are, we're back at the same thing that Donald Trump accused George Bush of being, you know, and the fake weapons of mass destruction. So here it is, round two, Donald Trump. Step into the round, boy. Tag team. Regime change wars. Let's go kill, and destroy. Okay. Last story here, the last sort of a thing. Yesterday, SpaceX, they launched a rocket again. I don't understand what's going on. Elon Musk is a smart guy. You know, for the most part, I don't know. I'm now starting to wonder, is he a good guy or is he a bad guy? You know, like he gave Starlink to Israel so that the Mossad can communicate and launch bombs and kill people in Iran. He did the same thing, of course, with Ukraine. He's made sure that he has given Starlink to Ukraine so that they can easily target and kill Russians. So. But, you know, they want to end the war. So, in other words, keeping the war going, even though they know that Ukraine cannot beat Russia, but keeping the war going is how to end the war faster because, anyway, you guys know the stupid logic. Oh, we got to strengthen Ukraine, strengthen their position, whatever the heck they're saying. Anyway, so SpaceX. The rocket exploded on the launch pad. It was absolutely, I mean, it makes you wonder what kind of fuel they had in there. I guess they're going to have to start putting that into some bombs. But anyway, it exploded, really. I mean, you guys might have seen that already. You can look online. SpaceX rocket explodes and put in yesterday's date. And at the same time, today, Russia, they launched an Angara A5 heavy lift rocket, by the way, heavy lift. I guess it's can lift some heavy things. And I guess it is a big milestone in Russian space achievement is launching this rocket, and it didn't blow up, it didn't crash, it didn't start doodly dipsy and then crash into the wherever. Like, I don't understand what's happening with Elon Musk, and I thought he was I wonder if somebody's sabotaging his stuff. Just guessing, I have no idea. But anyway, that's about it. How much time has it taken here? It's almost an hour. And I should announce also that for some reason, a lot of my videos are uploading much faster lately. I don't even understand that. Of course, when I walk into my apartment, then it goes really slow again. But anyway, just outside here, it's going quite fast. Very weird. So that's about all I have to say. And thank you guys for joining me. And I don't know. I guess I picked up 3 new subscribers since that idiot was going after me. I didn't, like I said, I should have saved it. I only read like 2 sentences, and I know this guy's got a mental problem, and I should have saved it just to see what his arguments were, just for the fun of it. Maybe even do a video, maybe even post it, and then show how wrong the guy is that doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. Anyway, you know how that is. Okay, let me take this thing off. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.